Hi, Mark Sweeney, owner of Austin Dental Spa in beautiful Austin, Texas. We're here to talk today about porcelain veneers and how they can make you look younger and more vibrant and confident. Most people think that they know what porcelain veneers are, and they think that they're limited to celebrities and Hollywood stars, but that's far from the case. Porcelain veneers are an everyday thing here at Austin Dental Spa, and they can be done for a variety of reasons: to put back broken tooth structure, or strictly for cosmetic purposes to make the tooth look different, either color-wise or shape-wise, than what it did look like before. It doesn't always involve removing some tooth structure. That's another common misconception. Quite often here at Austin Dental Spa, we're actually adding onto the tooth to make it look larger, or make it look longer, or make it look wider horizontally in the bicuspid areas. And so there's no need to prepare the tooth in any way, because we're actually adding porcelain on to make the tooth look bigger. So in those cases, we're able to do non-prepped or minimally prepped veneers where they're actually glued right onto your existing tooth structure. If we're trying to make the teeth look shorter, or we're changing the width to make it look smaller, then of course we have to take a little bit of tooth structure off in selected areas in order to put something back that is shaped differently than what the original tooth was. And that's very easily accomplished with porcelain veneers too. But the main reason most people get porcelain veneers is to make themselves look younger, or to give themselves a smile that they never had before. So that usually involves a whiter color of porcelain. The porcelain veneers are not much thicker most of the time. They're not much thicker than 2 or 3 fingernails stacked on top of each other, which is about 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters. But porcelain veneers can actually be as thin as 0.5 millimeter now with the newer porcelains that we use, that are super strong, but they've got enough color in them that they can actually change the shade of the tooth. Obviously, if you've got really dark teeth, the porcelain veneers need to be thicker in order to block that underlying tooth structure out. Quite often we get people that have multiple colors across their front, and one of the goals that they've got is to try to make all their teeth look the same color. The darker teeth would have to be prepped a little bit more than the lighter teeth, so that my lab guy has the ability to vary the thickness of the veneers so that once they're glued on, they all look the same color. It's pretty exciting stuff when we do a smile makeover like this, because we're able to not only change the shape and the color of teeth, but also add length on, add thickness on horizontally, so that more teeth show up when you smile. And porcelain veneers are very predictable. The bond between them and the tooth is actually a chemical bond, and it's gotten much more sophisticated than it was 30 years ago when I first started doing this kind of dentistry. Mine have been on for 21 years. I've never had one fall off or chip or break. Porcelain veneers are done all across the country every day of the year, and they're so predictable and so life-changing that it's pretty exciting dentistry. So how do porcelain veneers make you look younger? Well, 2 ways. They widen your arch so that the teeth back in the back, usually behind these canine or pointy teeth, show up more. So when we add width on with porcelain veneers to the teeth in the back, they're not only increasing the volume so that your lips and your cheeks have more support, but they also show up more when you smile. I can show dozens of pictures of people that had a decent smile before, but once we put veneers on to the teeth back behind the canine teeth and added some volume that direction, it totally changed their smile. It made it more dramatic so that more teeth show when they smile. They have the Julia Roberts smile. She's the most perfect example of when she smiles, she shows all 14 of her upper teeth all the way back to her second molars. And most people think that's a more attractive smile. And we also can add length, which also is a more youthful appearance, because most people through their lifetime, from their 20s to their 50s or 60s, they've lost some length of their teeth. They've worn them down just from normal wear and tear. Their nose and their chin have gotten closer together. So opening that vertical dimension up some so that this tissue here is stretched out a little bit and the teeth show up more when you talk and when you smile, is a more youthful appearance. And of course, it's a given that the veneers are also going to be whiter. So that's actually 3 ways that porcelain veneers can make you look younger. They're whiter than your real teeth, they're wider than your real teeth, and they're longer than your natural teeth, where all 3 of those things compute to a younger appearance. So if you're thinking that your smile is looking kind of old and tired and you want to look into improving that either by whitening or looking into porcelain veneers, it's very easy these days without even touching your teeth. We take up close photos, we send them to my dental lab, and we have them basically photoshopped to show you a couple of different looks of what your smile could look like before we ever even touch your teeth. It doesn't obligate you in any way, but it gives you a pretty good idea of how cosmetic dentistry can help make you look younger and healthier.